they do. They should take care of the employees first and do everything else after that. We're the ones that service this community, that the mayor likes to stand in front of and tell what a great job that we're doing, but you don't want to take care of us. You don't want to pay us. And all we're asking for is what we deserve. Not what we think we do, but what we deserve. Something that's fair, something that we can do. We can take care of our families, take care of raise our children, and some of us live in Oakland. It's what we want to do. A lot of us have had to move because we can't afford to live in this city anymore. The city that we know and love, the city that we come to work every day and try to service this community. And all we're asking for is something that is fair. We need to stay out as long as we can, honor the picket lines. If you're not on strike, honor the picket lines, stay out as we can until we get what we deserve. That's all we're asking for is what we deserve. I appreciate everybody coming out. My union has honored the strike. We will not cross the picket line. We were out this morning, early this morning, willing to go to work. We called in and told them we're ready to come to work, but we're going to honor the picket line. None of us, swing shift, standby, day shift, will cross the picket line. We're going to honor this strike as long as it takes. We'll be out as long as you're out. Thank you.
My name's Iris Starr, Department of Transportation.
And why are you out here today?
3 reasons. The first is that we work for a really tough city. The second is we are being paid 10 to 20% lower on the wage scale. And the third is that we want to be able to live in this community where we work and that we love. And when we're paid on this kind of scale, we can't stay. And our hearts are in it, our minds are in it. We spend extra hours working for this city, and we want to be treated fairly just like the other unions are being treated.
Well, what is the problem? I mean, there's a lot of money coming into Oakland. They're billionaires here. Why aren't they providing enough support or financial support for the workers here?
I think it's a great question. We know that over 17,000 units have been approved or are in the pipeline, housing units. That's a whole heck of a lot of money that's been coming in to the city. And so I would say we don't understand why there's been such resistance and an unwillingness to negotiate a fair contract.
And you talk about surviving, want to stay in Oakland. What does it mean for a city worker such as yourself and others to try to live in Oakland at this point?
Well, I mean, all of us who live in Oakland, including city workers, if you're a teacher or a firefighter or, in our case, a city planner, we're paying well over 30% of our salary in rent, and that doesn't include transportation. And when we don't have an efficient transportation system, that costs money in addition. So it's, and we do have people coming in from San Francisco who are also experiencing a big wage increase, and they're able to buy here. And so there is some level of being pushed out, and the price of real estate's gone up and rents have gone up.
Now, this is a one-day strike. Do you plan on having others if you don't get what you need?
It's 1 day so far. We need to get a fair contract, and so if that's going to take an additional day beyond this, then that's what it's going to take.
How long have you worked for the city of Oakland?
Well, 9 years this time. I'm a recidivist. I worked 9 years before and took a 10-year break, came back.
Okay, thank you.
I love Oakland. My heart is here. I'm totally committed to being in this city and making it great. And I want to be treated fairly.
Andrea Turner. We're out here to support SEIU, the brothers and sisters in the struggle. We're also out here to let the city know that we are really in need of a final decision and closure for Local 21 on where we are. We're out here to let the community know that we really support them. We want to be here for them. We need services, and we also need to have an increase in our income as well. We have given up our rights for many of years. We went out before and let most of most of us took the furloughs, we took everything else in back years. Now we're saying to the city, step up to the plate and do the right thing and make sure that we get our increases as we need to have in this day and age. And we don't want anybody to be to have problems in terms of it's holiday time. We don't want them to have to encounter all of the madness that we have right now going on. So why not do the right thing with the city and be out here to help us do
Thank you.
get a clear settlement?
My name is Jessie Warner, and we're out here again supporting our sisters and brothers in SEIU1021. We really do think it's important that not only we have fair wages and wages that represent the work that we do on behalf of the city and the services that we make sure happen in the city every day, but also their concerns about so many of their workers being part-time, and we want to see a resolution to that and more effort made by the city to really take care of the people who take care of the city.
It's very difficult living now, cost of living. How do part-timers make it?
You know, that's the question for me. I'm not in that situation, and thankfully so, and that's what I really think about. There's a lot of folks who, you'll see some of the signs by the city workers. You know, we want to be able to live in the city that we work in, and that's less and less possible with the high cost of living here and the inability to have the full-time work and the wages to support a living wage.
What's your name?
I'm Jessie Warner. I work with Human Services.
Ilahi. There's a strike with the city of Oakland, 2 unions, 21 and also 1021, all united as one front for a fair contract.
Why is the city not negotiating a fair contract? A lot of money is coming into Oakland. There's a lot of wealth in California. Where's the money?
Well, I wish I knew the details. They don't tell us the details about that. But I assume every vacant lot in Oakland, there's a condo, a loft, a brand new house going up.
Can your members afford these condos going up?
Pardon?
Can your members afford these condos that are going up in Oakland?
I'll put it like this. I live in Stockton, and I commute. I couldn't afford to live here. And more workers are moving out to the valley because they can't afford to live in the Bay.
Do you think that that should be one of the demands of the unions, that there be housing for workers, for city workers and other workers in Oakland?
I think so. Our sign says high rent, low pay, don't equal.
How long does it take to get to Stockton with all the traffic and the commute and gridlock?
I have a 14-seat Enterprise commuter van, and it takes me 2 hours from Stockton to get to Oakland. Going through Tracy, Altamont Pass, Livermore.
So you're talking 4 hours a day commute time.
Exactly.
That's wear and tear on you and your family. And
Exactly. Somebody said, I don't live in Stockton, I just sleep there.
it seems like more and more workers are being forced to commute.
And that is the trend.
How long have you worked for the city?
29 years.
What department?
Testing lab and project delivery.
So what do you think is happening in the Bay Area? I mean, this is going on in San Francisco, gentrification. I mean, less and less workers can afford to live in the Bay Area. They're basically saying go someplace else. What is that going to mean to working people in the Bay Area?
I didn't catch that.
What is that going to mean to working people in the Bay Area if they're being told go someplace else?
Well, the reality is they're moving further and further out where it's cheaper rent, cheaper houses, but longer commutes.
And no real mass transportation. Bullet trains, there are no bullet trains up to Stockton.
Exactly.
Working conditions that some of our members are forced to endure should not be done. It's just not right. We're here to support each other, and that's great. I love that.
We know why we're out here. It's the city's unfair labor practices for the last 7 months. They're the reason we don't have an agreement. But I want to explain what happened yesterday. We should all be at work today, and I should be at the bargaining table, and the city made that impossible. All right, all the unions came together. We made the city 2 different offers yesterday. The first was a 1-year offer that had the same terms as their first year. They said no, not interested. We could all be at work today if they had done that. So then we said, okay, we can be patient. We'll talk to you more and explain it. But what you need to do tomorrow, which is today now, is meet with us and former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown and informally mediate and talk about it. All they had to do was sit in a room with us. What did they say? They said no, which was shocking to me. Willie Brown's been in their shoes many times negotiating contracts. We could all use his help. The city doesn't think it was necessary. So I'm sorry we're all out here today, because all the city had to do to stop it was sit down and talk with us. But I'm glad to see everyone. Thank you for coming out, and we're going to keep fighting hard.
Al Marshall,
How long you work for the city, Al?
29 years and counting.
And if you want to talk about what's happening, what's going on out here today? Beautiful day.
We're striking.
Why is that?
The city council, the leadership of the city don't want to give us a fair contract, basically.
They say they don't have enough money. You don't believe them?
Yeah, it was interesting. They started off with 0, and then miraculously they came up with 4. So that tells us there's more money.
A lot of money is coming into Oakland right now.
Sure it is. A whole lot of money from all the development projects that are going on in this city. I'm sure the permit fees are just coming in like crazy right about now. Yeah, cannabis, that's a good one. Yeah.
Why don't they want to share it with the city workers who work here?
I don't know, maybe they want to make sure they have some reserves for police and fire who deserve it too, but that's my thinking.
And a lot of people on the picket line say they can't afford to live here anymore in Oakland. Is that they're being driven out? I mean,
Yeah, what's the medium now? About $800,000 for homes. Those very same homes used to cost anywhere from $150,000 to like $350,000. Really? Yeah, it's a nightmare here in Oakland if you want to purchase a home. But if you're in the new millenniums, then you could come in and basically pay cash, because that's what is going on. And then I think the banks also have something to do with that, because they only release a limited amount of properties at a time, which keeps the market, everybody competing and driving up the cost.
so this gentrification you're talking about, massive gentrification.
Absolutely.
You think the cities and public agencies should start building public housing for working class people?
Not only the workers, I think our teachers need it more than anybody, because they're teaching our young kids what they need to be successful here. Who's going to run the city 25 years from now? If you don't have people in the city that know the city, you lose the historical history of the city. And so without the past, you can't really be successful in your future.
And I mean, they're telling a lot of workers you have to commute, live in Stockton, Tracy. I mean, if you're going to live in the Bay Area, you have to you have to live someplace else. What kind of radical change is needed in this country and in the Bay Area for people to survive in the Bay Area who live here?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer. I really don't.
Okay. The mayor and the city council, who do they represent? The unions have supported some of them, yet they don't seem to be bending on negotiating a fair contract. They're forcing you out on strike.
Yeah, that's true. I'm a little disappointed that we got out there and campaign for a lot of those folks that are in office now. And even if the ones that we didn't endorse and they're in there now, it wasn't nothing personal. It was all about business. And then after that fact, you got to build relationships. You have to have healthy relationship with labor and with the city administration if you want to have a successful city, and that's the part that they're failing to do right about now.
And you think part of this also is racially determined? I mean, a lot of black Latino people are being pushed out of Oakland.
Wow, you're really hitting the core, because I would say basically within the last 6 months alone, the new department of DOT, Department of Transportation, there's nobody that looks like me or my Latino brothers coming in the door.
So that kind of tells it all.
Yeah, it kind of tells it all. Yes, it does.
And these big money people, the billionaires who want property in Oakland, you think they control City Hall?
I think they do. They're friends of friends of friends. So it's a lot of people who have their hands in the new development in the city. And I was even told that other surrounding states have actually come in to see what Oakland was doing so that they can run back and operate just like Oakland to push people out of color in other cities and states across the country.
And I mean, this is supposed to be liberal California, yet I mean, it seems like African American and Latino people are being driven out of major cities.
It does, and Oakland is one of the last cities that still has a African American Latino population. But if you drive through any of the neighborhoods, you can see that it's rapidly changing every day.
What kind of protection should there be for the workers here so that they can continue to live here?
Well, I mean, in the past, the city administrator have forgiven loans to contractors who are coming into the city to work on projects. So why not start purchasing some homes here in the city and allowing your city workforce to live in those homes, which in the event of any emergency crisis situation, you have your employees right here ready to come in and assist the cities instead of them being pushed out 100 miles and have to commute to get in here, and possibly the roads could be in the conditions where they can't even get back in here to provide the emergency services that the taxpayers are paying for every day.
And have all your members gone out here today on strike?
I would say it looks like about 90% has showed up, and we'll be back.
There's a lot of solidarity out here.
There's a lot of solidarity, and I think the key thing is tomorrow with the council in their closed session and what they're going to do about the situation. We'll really see tomorrow what the council and this administration thinks of its workers.
Can you talk about what's happening? What do you mean retention of city workers? What's happening here?
Retention of city workers? I'm not sure what that sign means, but I know we're not getting a fair contract. And that's what we're out here fighting for. So,
Why aren't they giving you a fair contract?
I really don't know. I think maybe the city overspent money and they're not telling.
A lot of money's coming into Oakland. Development, I mean, billionaires.
Lots of billions, and we're not getting a part of that at all. We're not getting any kind of cost of living increase, and we're just getting basically mistreated. And,
How are you mistreated?
well, we're mistreated because they will not give us a fair contract. So
You have good conditions on the job?
they're good. I mean, they're good, but salary-wise, they're not giving us any increase in the cost of living. And everywhere else, every other, cities, municipalities, and so forth are getting cost of living raises. So,
The housing costs in Oakland, I mean,
well, the housing is very bad. So we're not getting anything to keep up with the rents increases and with the new taxes that are going to be coming up, especially with the federal government tax situation, scam situation.
We're going to have Mike Patterson from IBEW 1245.
It's good to see everybody again today. I went out to Edgewater this morning and saw everybody early this morning on the line. It was good to see everybody. Here we are again, demanding that they treat us fairly. This mayor voted in 2013 against giving us a raise, and she's just being herself. She's doing the same thing again, voting against labor. How many times have you heard the mayor say we respect and appreciate the employees? She said it yesterday on the news. We appreciate the employees. Well, if you appreciate us, take care of us. Do what's right by us. What we're asking for is fair and an equitable wage increase. They know they owe us. We took concessions when they said they didn't have any money. We took furlough days when they said they didn't have any money. I've been here for a long time. They never say they have money, but we know that they do.
Teresa, my sign, which I'm in agreement of, is our children deserve clean streets, and because that's not happening right now with all the homeless and the garbage and everything that's going on. We need clean streets. And then we're fighting for health and safety for residents and workers of Oakland. We want to live here And we don't want to have to commute way out somewhere and come back because we cannot afford to live here. So we want to work and live here. So that's one of the reasons we're out here.
Well, there's a lot of money coming into Oakland, billionaires, developers. Where's all the money going?
To development, to something else. I personally think it's going to the police department because they got to pay off so much debt in lawsuits and everything, you know? And a lot more, I think, is coming from January the 1st when that revenue comes in from the cannabis. And so they can give us some money from there because we're doing the work of 3 and 4 people. Every time you look up, they're adding more things, and not hiring anybody. And they want to hire part-timers so they don't have to pay them any type of benefits.
Is this creating a stressful situation on the job?
Oh, most definitely. Oh, most definitely stressful. And because you have to work even more and more and give out even more and more, and they're putting more and more work on you and not hiring other people, where there used to be like 3 or 4 people doing one job. Now it may only be one.
So city services are suffering?
City service are suffering because the lines are getting longer and the production is not what it used to be. And even in our department,
what department are you in?
I'm in housing now. I was in public works for 20 years. So even in public works, before I left there, it was the trash and the they only wanted to hire part-timers, so we wasn't able to pick up all the trash and do all the things that we needed to do and keep the parks clean and safe.
And this is one of the richest countries in the world. California is supposed to be rich. You have 130 billionaires in California, and we can't keep the streets clean? What is going on?
I don't know. I'm going to say this in closing, is that we have a new breed of greed out here in this world where the common workers are not appreciated, you know, and where the money stays, even with the city, they're top heavy and it does not trickle down to its workers.
A $1,600 a plate fundraiser. So she'll be in there supporting the people that she represents, while we're out here supporting the people that we represent, the workers and the citizens of the city of Oakland.